Welcome back to another Element Fissions video, and in this video I will be showcasing the current team that I am using to farm Desolate Basin. In this Abyss dungeon, you can farm converters for your boxing club gear. So let me quickly show you guys what they are actually, how to utilize them in game. We go to my inventory and we go to this Swift gear, go to reinforce, go to convert, and this is essentially how it works. If you have a substat in your gear piece that you don't want, you can farm that abyss dungeon that I showed you, and you can change a random substat depending on what you have. So, for example, if I didn't want accuracy and I wanted defense percentage, I can convert it, and from there, you'll be able to have a better efficient gear piece. So, long story short, you want to start farming the Abyss Dungeon once you farm Bison Club 10 for a couple weeks. That way, you can make your gears overall more efficient, better fit for each element, and allow your account to progress just a little bit further in the gear aspect. Alright, so let's jump right into the exact elements I'm using for this Desolate Basin Abyss dungeon. So from the fastest to the slowest, the fastest one that you will want to go first is this Clockwork, okay? So right now, once I make a run, it's not faster than my Sharpshooter. As you can see, it's 132, 137, but it's not the end of the world. Just in terms of turn order, you'll get a little bit more damage if this Clockwork goes out. But for right now, it's running perfectly fine for me, so I just didn't want to change it. But ideally, this guy will go first, and most importantly, you want him to have 60% luck. So the reason why you want 60% is because that is the hot spot, not 59, not 58, 60% or higher to trigger his passive. So what this does is once you have 60% luck, it's going to 100% trigger all three buffs on all of your elements on your team. Now this is going to be relevant because the green Gunslinger, his passive attacks enemies 5 times randomly. This attack has a 15% chance to ignore target defense, and the chance increases by 5% for each buff on you. When attacking with attribute advantage, the chance to trigger is doubled. So, essentially, they work hand in hand. We want more buffs for the Gunslinger to ignore defense, so your Gunslinger could do more damage. So 60% luck, guys, this is non-negotiable. You have to have 60% to make your runs consistent, more so. So right now, mine's at this is the overall stats. Inspire gear, like any other dungeons. I'm not gonna go through every single gear piece, but most importantly, he goes first, and then mine is maxed out. He has 60% luck, and this is the intelligence. I didn't mess around with the intelligence. I found them not to be super important in the Abyss dungeon here. The second elements that will ideally go is going to be your sharpshooter. So your sharpshooter, you want him to have some accuracy. I put a slot 6 accuracy. That way, your sharpshooter can land defense break and the mark effect, allowing your overall DPS, your gunslinger, and your green sharpshooter to do more damage. These are the overall stats. Put Inspire Gear if you can. If you don't have Inspire Gear, as you can see, mine doesn't have Inspire Gear, which is perfectly fine. But obviously, if you have Inspire Gear, use Inspire Gear on your Sharpshooter. And then these are the intelligence. I did not mess around with them. And also, Sharpshooter, the Dark Sharpshooter is maxed out. The second unit or the second element that will be going is the green sharpshooter. So again, you this guy you just want him to be on max damage here. Crit rate, crit damage, at least 70%, 70% crit rate because you get a crit rate buff from the Clockwork. Okay, so it's a little bit more lenient in that aspect, but you get a crit rate buff. You could use that 30% and dish it out to attack and crit damage. Skill ups are maxed out, guys. And obviously you have Inspire Gear, use Inspire, and then Intelligence. I did not mess around with the Intelligence. The fourth element that we'll be going is your Gunslinger. So this guy is going to be crit rate, crit damage. Again, 70% because you get the crit rate buff. Max skilled on S3. That's the most important. You don't need S1, S2 maxed out. Just S3 is going to make these runs a lot smoother. I tried doing it with only 3 skill ups, 4 skill ups, and man, you need that last skill up with that cooldown reduction to do massive damage once you get to like that second and third phase. So this is, I wouldn't say non-negotiable, but if you don't have that skill up, you'll have to have an immense amount of speed on your team to allow your gunslinger to take another turn. So if that is the case, then your overall stat requirement is just going to be a lot higher because now you're replacing damage with speed, and you don't want that, right? So the easiest is um, get this S3 maxed out if you truly want to farm this Abyss dungeon, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. Crit rate, crit damage, use Inspire if you can, and Intelligence, I did not mess around with it. The fifth element that will be going is going to be either your Ghost Captain or your Turtle Tank. It doesn't really matter. These two just needs to go last. Use Inspire Gear if you can. As for the Ghost Captain, S3 here should ideally be maxed out as well. If it's not maxed out, I don't think it's the end of the world. Mine is maxed out. It definitely made the run smoother, but I believe this one can be non-maxed out. But to make it more consistent, you definitely want to have the S3 maxed out. That way you can decrease the cooldown of your elements and do a debuff on your overall team as well. On top of that, skill 2 does a defense break on the boss, allowing your team to dish out more damage. Now, again, use Inspire if you can. Put some accuracy, defense onto land slot or skill 2 defense out. Put some accuracy. Mine's at 33%. I found that to be fine. And then in terms of intelligence, I did not mess around with it. And then here are the turtle tank. You just want them to be tanky, max skilled, use Inspire, and then he doesn't need any other stat besides just trying to be tanky and go last and use S3 to do the 1 debuff on all allies and decrease cooldown by 1 turn. So all these two guys right here, all they're really there for is to have max cooldown on their S3s, just so this gunslinger can again proc back into his S3. So that's all they're really there for. You might be able to replace these guys with other elements that does do cooldown reduction, so you could definitely play around with whatever you have, but these are just the ones that I've used. This is probably the most free to play one. I couldn't find any other replacements in terms of the free to play aspect. So this gunslinger 100% cannot be replaced, and then this clockwork guy can 100% cannot be replaced as well. I did see that a lot of teams did use this green sharpshooter as well. So this guy right here might not be replaceable as well. And then in terms of the dark sharpshooter, you may not need the mark, but I found it to be a lot better with it. So that is the overall team, guys. Comparing to like Boxing Club 10, basically the same stats, right? Crit damage. You want a lot of luck whenever you can, but just keep in mind Clockwork needs 60% luck. That's really important. Your damage dealer, which is your green gunslinger, and your green sharpshooter, 70% crit rate because you get a crit rate buff. Stack as much attack percent and crit damage as possible. Max skill them, and then you should ideally be able to run and complete this Abyss dungeon. So just to quickly show you guys a run here, guys. Ideally, what's going to happen is the boss is going to use this fog skill, whatever, on either your turtle tank or your captain, and you essentially just have to kill it before that time runs out. So as you guys can see there was a lot of damage that was dished out from the green gunslinger there, and then my green sharpshooter kind of just finished it off. So that's really important to note there. Just rewind the video, you'll see how much damage it was actually doing. If your gunslinger is not able to do enough damage where your green sharpshooter cannot finish it off, or vice versa, just one-shot it all the way, and then you're probably not ready for this Abyss dungeon, and you probably should just go back and farm Boxing Club. Or on top of that, you need more skill ups, right? The damage boost from the S3 is going to be massive in this one. So here, essentially, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You just keep doing damage. Nothing that you can really do. Nothing to really look forward to in terms of what needs to happen. But in terms of just like that specific turn order that I was mentioning earlier, most importantly, as long as your Gunslinger can one shot, or if not, if Sharpshooter follows up and kills that first phase, then you should ideally be good for the rest of the round. In terms of the tankiness, I would recommend at least, I would say, I know I just mentioned that they just needed to be tanky, but I would say probably around like 20k HP ish, at least for your front line, and then that way they can survive and your back line doesn't take any damage. So again, there Gunslinger goes, does S3, Turtle Tank and the blue captain does cooldown reduction, allow him to basically utilize S3 whenever it's up. So that's that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions on the team, feel free to ask me in the comments. Join my Discord. I'll leave it in the description. If you enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to see future content coming from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I do want to give a shout out to, I did say Discord already, but also my Twitch. I will be leaving my Twitch down in the description if you want to check me out live. I do stream every single day, or at least I try to, and connect with the community, see what's going on, and see what teams we can build for the next video. So until then, guys, good luck in farming, good luck in summoning, and I'll see you guys on the next one.